So yes, human foreskin has actually been used in growth factors. There's a lot of research on it. It's been shown to increase collagen production. It'll fill in all those lines and wrinkles. And Oprah looks great.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to look at Oprah no.
We need to help each other. So maybe we'll inspire someone else to do something else to help kids. Children need an education. You know, I can't stress that enough, especially our children. One more day, and Chris's life would have been a whole, he would still be here with us.
We've had plenty of horrifying cases come out of Hollywood in recent memory about well-established celebrities being used and manipulated by the industry. Now imagine how much worse it must be for actors that are new to it, or actors that are simply too young to fight back.
To hear that Brian Peck was, it made me wonder immediately about who was being hurt.
Who it is, when it happened, where it happened, I have no idea.
It wasn't dealing with anybody on the shows or anything, right?
It was a child actor.
The public's impression of Hollywood appears to be focused on fame and fortune, but after hearing the accounts of actors who have lived the genuine Hollywood experience, the industry's awful practices have been uncovered. Clearly, SA is the #1 issue in the entertainment industry. The problem originates from substantial power disparities between those who already have status and those who have yet to establish a reputation for themselves.
On one of our shows.
Yes.
Many young aspiring artists enter the industry with high expectations. People in positions of authority in Hollywood take advantage of their naivety and then use that influence to obtain pressure and push youngsters into IS acts. When young stars enter the entertainment industry, many avoid disclosing the for fear of being blacklisted and jeopardizing their success. This is due to how society handles SA allegations. They do not believe the victims since they have less authority than the aggressors. People frequently turn a blind eye to in Hollywood, most likely because no one has really grasped the gravity of the situation. Famous child actor Corey Feldman, well known for the film Lost Boys, spoke out about his childhood experiences in a page 6 article published by the Washington Post. The powerful men in Hollywood would throw parties where you'd walk in, and it would be mostly kids and a handful of adult men. They would also be at the film awards and children's charity functions, Feldman said. He also stated how the majority of the males who attended these parties engaged in activities with and are still well known today, while their victims are forgotten. Instead, everyone in Hollywood must take the time to listen and learn from survivors, as well as take action against heirs, regardless of their power. Many of these young artists believe they lack the power to speak up. Therefore, it is critical that when they do, we give them a secure venue and support so that speaking up does not seem intimidating. Hopefully, more people will feel strong enough to come forward. Aside from that, it is good practice to teach children the value of consent from an early age. High schools must equip kids with easily accessible options so that if they ever find themselves in a dangerous situation, they can deal with it safely. One of Hollywood's most prominent scandals, the Harvey Weinstein incident in 2017, demonstrated the industry's lack of accountability. Weinstein is a well-known director who has collaborated with hundreds of A-list celebrities. According to the Los Angeles Times, other young women came forward, claiming Weinstein promised them professional advancement in exchange for S. Furthermore, USA Today revealed shocking accusations that 87 women had come forward regarding Weinstein S.A. them. Not only is Weinstein's S misconduct appalling, but so is Hollywood's handling of it. Those who worked with Weinstein rushed to protect him. Individuals such as Seth MacFarlane went so far as to joke about the situation during the Academy Awards in 2013. "Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein," MacFarlane went on to say. MacFarlane's remark implies that the female nominees Flirted and S exploited themselves in order to receive the nomination from the then Oscar-winning Weinstein. He fully discredited the actress's efforts and instead empowered Weinstein. MacFarlane's comments demonstrate how Hollywood knew about Weinstein's wrongdoing, but refused to do or say anything. Quentin Tarantino, an Academy Award-winning director, collaborated closely with Weinstein. Tarantino, one of Hollywood's most recognized directors, utterly ignored Weinstein's harassment. There was more to it than just the normal rumors, the normal gossip. It wasn't secondhand. I knew he did a couple of these things, Tarantino said. Tarantino demonstrated how the lack of stepping up in Hollywood allowed Weinstein to continue his A of women. Similarly, during the production of Phantoms, Rose McGowan approached her co-star Ben Affleck and informed him that Weinstein had made unwanted approaches to her. According to her, Affleck answered with laughter. "God damn it, I told him to stop doing that." Unbelievably, the investigation Discovery documentary series Quiet on Set revealed a plethora of workplace harassment claims involving a number of Nickelodeon episodes from the 1990s and 2000s, as well as former veteran writer, producer, and showrunner Dan Schneider. Now that the show has aired, background checks are being used, and there is a fresh discussion about child performers in Hollywood. Do child performers today have greater protection than they did before the purported A? And what actions are Disney Channel and Nickelodeon taking to make sure this never happens again? Reporters contacted attorneys, on-set educators, business insiders, and psychologists who are aware with the on-set circumstances. They voiced dismay at the circumstances that initially led the documented in Quiet on Set to occur. They also observed, though, that victims of A or witnesses were reluctant to come forward out of concern of retaliation. Even if additional safeguards are now in place, and the culture of awareness to workplace toxicity and has evolved since Schneider was fired from Nickelodeon in 2018, the experts the Wrap spoke with insisted that more work remains. There are gaping loopholes in the system, and within laws that are being exploited by productions and producers and by individuals to save the dollar, one studio teacher who chose to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation said. According to present regulations, parents of must always keep their child's sight and sound and control a child actor's shift. The position of studio teacher or set teacher, who looks out for and educates young performers, offers still another layer of security. Until a child turns 16, studio teachers, who are expressly designated in the state of California, also manage their welfare. There are holes in these procedures, though. A studio teacher who spoke to the Wrap said she was removed from production for speaking out, and it was perfectly legal. The teacher clarified that producers are free to engage independent contractors, like On Location Education, a nationwide educational non-union consulting firm, instead of employing teachers directly. Teachers can be replaced for whatever reason under this arrangement. The studio teacher said that under her care would be working an extra hour on the set of a well-known Marvel series. I replied with, "We can't do that. That's not allowed." And the production manager said, "I'm not asking. This is what's going to happen. We have an actor here who has to fly back in the morning," the teacher recalled. The involved minor stayed an extra hour, according to the studio teacher. Next day, a company under contract with the production sacked the teacher after informing the production manager that this would never happen again. Employees in general have this fear. Maybe I'll lose my job if I speak out about this issue, Chantal Payton of Payton Employment Law told the Wrap. While many employees are legally protected from retaliation by a number of laws, including protection, plenty still don't feel comfortable speaking up for fear of being blackballed from the industry. That applied to Carolyn Crimley, a Californian certified studio teacher with IATSE Local 884, who reported an on-set incident in 1992 and was let go from the production later that same day. She was employed at the time with On Education Location. Numerous series mentioned in Quiet on Set, including Victorious, Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Sam and Cat, were serviced by OEL, according to their website. That particular event took place in San Francisco at the Golden Gate Theater. "We were up in the dressing room," Crimley explained. "At the end of rehearsal, the mom came up mad at her kid for shutting the lights off and on or something. The other kid tattletaled on him. The mother was hitting the kid loudly. I heard it and one of the wardrobe people heard it. So I went down to the production manager and reported it, and then got a phone call that night from On Location Education that I'd been basically fired from the job." According to a public court document obtained by the Wrap, OEL President Alan Simon admitted that Crimley had been kicked off the show, but claimed that her reporting the A was the reason for the decision. "That happens a lot in theater, that they keep the parents away," Crimley continued. "I also reported it to Child Services, and they sent me a letter that said, 'Allegations are unfounded.' They had gone to talk with the kid with the mother present, so of course he wasn't going to say something in front of his mother." The biggest adjustment Nickelodeon and Disney have made since the era covered in Quiet on Set is requiring background checks of anyone who works with children. Following the arrest of Brian Peck, the dialogue coach who was convicted of abusing Drake and Josh actor Drake Bell, who was 15 at the time, Nickelodeon began rolling out extensive checks. Individuals familiar with both studios told media outlets that security checks that potentially uncover prior criminal records have been industry norm at both Nickelodeon and Disney for the past 20 years. A Nickelodeon insider said that background checks weren't standard to begin with because unions don't like them. But the studios had the power to mandate background checks after it was revealed that 3 now convicted offenders, animator Easel Channel, production assistant Jason Handy, and Brian Peck, had been permitted to work closely with performers while Schneider was in charge, according to the Nickelodeon insider. And then the studio went the extra step and said, "We're going to background check every single employee." Although Nickelodeon claimed in an official statement to the media that it looks into formal complaints right away, none of the circumstances depicted in the docuseries were ever submitted as formal complaints to the network at the time. When the documentary series premiered, Schneider retorted that dozens of adults carefully scrutinized everything that happened on the shows he produced, and that network executives on 2 coasts fully approved all stories, costumes, and makeup. He did, however, also express regret for embarrassing prior actions. "I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology," he stated in an interview following the docuseries premiere. One groundbreaking provision, AB 452, that entered into force on January 1st among the new legal protections for in California is the removal of the statute of limitations for future child victims of SAs. It is not, however, retroactive, as the Californian statute of limitations extended for adult victims of SA in 2023, which resulted in years-old accusations against Nigel Lithgow and others. Children often hesitate to report according to psychologist Dr. Patrice Legoy, a registered marital and family therapist with experience in the entertainment industry. In families where kids are the breadwinner and the family is relying on them, they might feel like they need to keep quiet about any behavior since so many people are counting on them, Legoy said. "I would like it to get to that level where just as these child actors have a tutor on set, they have a mental health expert. It would be so valuable." Meanwhile, as Bell and his fellow child stars did in Quiet on Set, speaking to the media can occasionally be the only way to expose industry wrongdoings, according to Dr. Ann Oliverius, a lawyer who focuses on cases of civil litigation, discrimination, and harassment, A. You can get justice by going public. You may not get money, but certainly you'll be educating others. You'll be preventing the problem going forward, Oliverius told the Wrap. "All you can do is speak up. You can agitate, you can be political, you can go to the press, hopefully find a person to tell your story. And in many cases, there will be legal actions you can take." Other former child stars have divulged their stories on social media since Quiet on the Set was released on March 17th. But Bell's long-term hesitation to come out is indicative of the culture of fear that still envelops a victim. "I finished the Quiet on Set documentary and took a few days to process it," Bell's co-star Josh Peck, no relation to Brian Peck, said on social media. "I reached out to Drake privately, but want to give my support for the survivors who were brave enough to share their stories of emotional and physical on Nickelodeon sets with the world. Children should be protected." In an Instagram video, Jack Salvatore Jr., who wrote for Sam and Cat and played Mark Del Figolo on the Nickelodeon sitcom Zoe 101, alluded to even more unsettling accusations that he was choosing not to address at this time. "This is an entire industry built on hope and dreams and adrenaline and wish fulfillment," he said, "and that can be a very dangerous thing for megalomaniacs to wield." Even all these years later, Salvatore said he thought twice about sharing his experiences. "In posting this, I'm a little afraid. Is this going to screw up my career moving forward? I have no idea, but I think it's important and it needs to be said, because if my silence ensures the perpetuation of environments I don't want to work in anymore, then what is the point of working in them?" Jeanette McCurdy, who starred on iCarly, told the New York Times that "My whole childhood and adolescence were very exploited." McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, discusses terrible events on the set of iCarly and experiencing from her mother as a child star. McCurdy said that she was encouraged to drink on set while underage and was repeatedly shouted at while filming her first kiss with co-star Nathan Kress. She also claimed that her mother controlled her friendships, supported her eating disorder, and gave her exams in the shower. McCurdy, who left acting several years ago, declined to repeat her part in Paramount's iCarly reboot series to prioritize her mental health and happiness. "My whole childhood and adolescence were very exploited. she told the New York Times in 2022. It still gives my nervous system a reaction to say it. There were cases where people had the best intentions and maybe didn't know what they were doing, and also cases where they did. They knew exactly what they were doing. Selena Gomez claimed she felt violated when paparazzi photographed her as a teenager. I remember just feeling really violated when I was younger. Even just being on the... I was maybe 15 or 16 and people were taking pictures. Photographers, Gomez told Business of Fashion in 2017. I felt very violated and I didn't like it or understand it. And that felt very weird because I was a young girl and they were grown men. I didn't like that feeling. In a 2019 radio interview with The Zach Sang Show, the former Disney star credited friends, treatment, and time off with helping her regain her mental health. Working since I was 7, being away from my family, moving from Texas to LA, experiencing fame, being confused by what that means, trying to grow up, being in such a weird position where people are actually caring and being awkward because you're growing up. I think I was scared of it and I probably hated most of it, Gomez said. But with that time that I've been given, I've just been able to come out on the other side and be okay. And I don't really know how other than all the work that I did, meaning friends, therapy, taking time off, going back to Texas, just enjoying what's right in front of me. In an op-ed for People, former Disney Channel star Allison Stoner discussed the systemic faults and destructive impacts of child celebrity. In the early 2000s, Allison Stoner rose to prominence as an actor, singer, and dancer. She has appeared in films such as Cheaper by the Dozen and Step Up, as well as Disney Channel's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Camp Rock. She has worked as a backup dancer for performers including Missy Elliott, Will Smith, and Eminem. In a video essay and op-ed for People magazine released in April 2021, Stoner described harassment, severe eating disorders, child labor law, and other harrowing occurrences during her early career. While traversing extreme peaks and valleys of global fame, hidden medical hospitalizations, artistic milestones, rapid adultification, and multi-layered I wish on no one, I narrowly survived the toddler-to-train wreck pipeline, Stoner wrote in her op-ed. In fact, nothing was designed for me to end up normal, stable, alive. Stoner is now using her platform to lobby for improvements to the industry that will protect young actors, such as mental health professionals on every set and mandated media literacy classes for parents. Cole Sprouse told Variety that working on a Disney Channel sitcom for 9 years was an insular environment that may cause him to lose touch with reality. Cole Sprouse and his twin brother Dylan appeared in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and its spin-offs from 2005 to 2011. When you're a child actor, and so a lot of the larger business decisions that are controlling your career are outside your agency, Sprouse was quoted as saying by Variety in 2019. One of the dangers of, at least in my position, which was a sitcom inside a soundstage for 9 years with Disney Channel, you're raised in such an insular environment that you forget what real human experience or boots on the ground actually looks like. Sprouse says taking a break from acting to attend New York University helped him stay grounded. Taking time for college was really important, and I think it's one of those things that I'd recommend to every single young actor. He went on to say, "It allowed me to regain a semblance of my anonymity, which is something that's really important." That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.